Welcome to my video. I work at a billion-dollar AI startup in SF, and this is my day in the life. Right now I'm heading over to BART. I'm going to be taking the BART from Berkeley to Embarcadero, work at the office a little, show you guys how it's like to work there. And at night there's going to be an event that's hosted by Anthropic that I'm going to be heading over and show you all the SF scene that everyone is talking about. The billion-dollar valuation I mentioned is not actually monopoly money valuation. Our startup got acquired last week for actually $1 billion. So the atmosphere is definitely exciting. This is an exciting opportunity, and I'm gonna try my best to show you all.
Actually, I don't know if now's the best time.
This is the financial district of SF when you come out of the Embarcadero BART, and my office is right around there on the corner. And this is where most tech companies are located. A definitely dense environment where there are lots of events, lots of companies, lots of people. So it's definitely a great place to work for tech people. It's very tech dense. As I entered the building, I realized that I don't want to record everywhere around the office and be that person who leaks confidential information, especially after the acquisition. So I'll be doing this voiceover while I get some work done. This is my desk, and this is where I actually spend most of my day. The engineering team is around 40 to 50 people, and the total company size is close to 200. The first thing I do when I sit down is catch up on Slack and just get into the code base. We have short stand-ups on Monday, Wednesday, Friday to sync with the team, but don't have a bunch of meetings other than that. Arise itself is a remote-first company, and my team has folks from West Coast, East Coast, Texas, Canada, and South Africa. Just like anything else, there are pros and cons to working in a remote-first environment, and let me know down in the comments if you would like to hear more about that. But for those who don't know me, I moved to the United States when I was 15, didn't get into any colleges outside of high school, went to community college for 2 years, then got into all the UCs for computer science. Currently, I'm doing my last semester at Berkeley, and I'm graduating this December. I'll tell you what I do all day, if it's worth learning to code when AI writes the code, and how I got this internship. But before that, here's my breakfast. I usually eat 2 meals a day with light breakfast. When in office, that light breakfast is a 20-gram protein yogurt with some granola. I also get coffee from our fancy coffee machine, but I forgot to record that part unfortunately, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. For those who don't know, Arise is an LLM observability and evaluation platform. Our motto is that we make your AI work. This was literally on their seed pitch deck. So what I do all day? Well, I'm in a team that owns one of the core features of the product, and within my team scope, I own another feature that enables users to connect their agent endpoints to Arise. Usually how it goes is that we get product direction from our product manager or CPO, where they're like, this is what customers want, or this is why we should build X feature. Then we get to work, do some planning around decisions that will be taken, do out of the work, and conquer. When I joined this summer, an early MVP of the feature was already ready, but I own things like the fastwell requests, bug fixes, and UI UX improvements. I must say, it's a great feeling to have a big ownership on a specific part of the product. Lately though, I've been doing some security hardening work and planning for another big feature that we're working on. So basically most of my day consists of managing agents, reviewing code, and testing my implementations. After working for a while, we went to grab coffee with some engineers from other teams. These 15-minute walks are where you learn stuff beyond work or things that are deeper into work, hit or miss. This coffee is from Coffee Bodega by Embarcadero Station. I got a coffee that's cold espresso over tangerine juice, but unfortunately the sour taste wasn't for me. So now back to work, and the next questions are, is it worth learning to code when AI writes all the code, and how did I get this internship? For the first part, I do still believe that fundamentals are very important, and understanding architecture and why certain decisions are taken are also very important. Some good ways to get exposed to different aspects of software engineering are school, side projects, and hackathons. I made a video about if the school is worth going to for CS. You can check it out after this video. And how I got this internship was rather unusual, where I didn't cold apply and pray the ATC gods to pick up my resume, or I didn't send a bunch of random LinkedIn connections to people begging for referrals. But what I did was a very targeted cold email straight to the founders. Both co-founders of Arise came to Berkeley for an info session about Arise, and this is one of the benefits of going to a good school. They came to Berkeley because they're Berkeley alumni. They presented, I paid attention, chatted a little on the spot with them. Then as soon as I get back home after the event, maybe less than an hour after the event, I sent a cold email to both co-founders. In that email, I praised how they gave us free food and merch, how they shared their experiences of being a founder rather than keep talking about their company. Then I moved on to talking about who I am, what I've done, and why I'm a good fit for Rise. Here, I've identified a couple points that they talked about during their info session, like using the latest AI tools, following the latest news, experimenting with different technologies, and I plugged that in exactly what they were looking for into my email. Soon enough, I got into the interview pipeline, and what mattered there was being able to build things and show them and not just have the right logo on a resume. I was probably one of a few people in that room who got an offer, and I'm the only engineering intern at the Rise right now. So the Berkeley logo itself is definitely not enough, as everyone in that room had the same logo. But I also want to say, don't get discouraged if you're not going to a top school. We have tons of engineers who joined Arise outside of target schools and came from different pathways of life. As long as you're putting in the work to differentiate yourself from all other students and push yourself to become better every day, you'll be fine. If you're worried about the tech job market, I have another video about that on my channel. Now let's check out the cool socks that I got and continue our SF adventure. Some high quality socks apparently. Dynatrace. They told me that this is a good brand. Alright, so I left work at 6. Now I'm headed to the event of the night. It was gonna be the cloud event, but then I found another one where there are multiple startups around the size of my company, a little smaller, a little bigger, where they're gonna be playing billiards. The cloud was more like a hard science cloud event, and now I'm just walking towards the other event. That's the benefit of like living in the city or working at the city. You just have so many different options that you can do before, after doing work, to expand your network, to learn what other people are doing, to understand what the latest trends are in the industry. So definitely trying to take the maximum advantage of it. Also on my way, I took a detour to the street show, street party that was open to everyone, that was free. I saw a bunch of people vibing, some house music, electro music, some techno music, a little bit of everything. And it's just really fun. It's a lot different than living in any other city. I think you can either compare SF with New York, or SF is, especially for tech scene, is very different at a different level. Also, one of my favorite things about working at a company of my size, which is 150, 200 people, is if you have the initiative, if you have the motivation, the impact you can have is really, really large. The surface area that you can cover is like, there's no limit. I can just go to the code base, touch wherever I want, talk with the people that knows like that part very easily. Everyone is like within your reach. I talk to head of engineering, I talk to CISO, I talk with the security team. If I see something, I just make the change and ask for their opinion and get feedback and just make real impact without too much of a headache. Like if you're working at a large company, you might need to get permission from here, there. If you want to like experiment with something, there might be some procedures that you need to go about. But at a company of my size, we just move fast. And I think hence that we can increase our valuation with such small team. As a lean team, we're just worth a lot. All right, I've just exited from the startup event. It was hosted by Modal, Judgment Labs, LlamaIndex, and ClickHouse. And the engineers and salespeople were from those companies who are at the event, as well as a lot of cool people who are building things, who work at cool companies, all the way from like all the big tech, founding engineers, founders, people who are working at moonshot startups. So it's overall a really good experience. They had really good food. You know, all these companies have a lot of money to spend right now. And this is a typical day of my life as a software engineering intern at a startup in SF who is in tech. I go to work. After work, I try my best to come to these type of events to improve my network, improve my knowledge, see what's happening, listen to people, learn from people. And I appreciate everyone who's watching my video. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about anything I've done. Any type of questions, feel free to hit me up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.